My name is Loa of Activate Corporate Relations, and we are an integrated marketing agency that helps our clients to build exciting brands and increase investor awareness both on and offline. So to give you a little bit of an idea about my background, I've gone from being a stockbroker in the 90s to an investor relations rep and then an integrated marketer when I started Activate in 2000. I've basically been there, done it all. I've been in all aspects of finance, marketing, media, and I've been working in the online space basically since banner ads were born. So our time together is going to be a little bit different than a normal lecture today because I want it to be interactive and I want to find out what kind of experiences you guys are having out there in social media. Also, I'm going to be including some random questions throughout the course of the talk. And there's going to be prizes for the first person to give me the right answer. And here's a funny to start off your morning. The mining people in the audience will appreciate this. So the three areas I'm going to cover today is the fact that as communicators, we face rapid change in how our audience wants to receive information from us and be communicated to. I'm going to go over some of the issues that I've heard from top management teams as to why they haven't adopted social media yet, and hopefully help you, give you some information that you can take away today and figure out how to uncover the values of being in the social space. Most of us know that people don't easily adapt to change, but as human beings, thank God we do, or I might still look like this. Thank God for evolution. I'm sure y'all remember this guy here, Gordon Gekko, right? The original Wall Street movie. Look at the size of that telephone, cutting edge technology for the day, right? Remember the cell phone, big as a brick and about as heavy? Well, technology certainly advanced from this to this, a fully functional computer, cell phone, massive storage device, and MP3 player and camera that fits in the palm of your hand and allows you to connect to hundreds or even thousands of people within minutes. And depending who you are, the average person has about 130 people in their social network. Some people, known as influencers, can have literally thousands or hundreds of thousands. And in fact, half of the 800 million people that connect to Facebook do so through their mobile device. So you can see that times have certainly changed. There's also 1.2 billion people in the social online space today. They are checking their social media channels and interacting with each other about product, services, and investments that they're interested in. So with the show of hands, how many people in the room right now use Facebook personally? Okay, almost everybody, great. And now how about for business? Okay, a good few, excellent. And now who feels that they're really getting maximum benefit from having their business online and social? A couple, okay. Good, that gives me a little bit of a vibe for the room. So if we look at LinkedIn, okay, this is the largest professional network online for people that are going in, putting up their resumes and going into various groups and interacting with like-minded people. If we narrow down the audience, financial services people, which is our target audience for public companies, make up just about 8 million. So that is a very substantial audience. That's globally. But when you look at the fact that as public companies, our investor audience is not just North America, a lot of you are probably listed on other exchanges in the US, as well as over in Germany. So, you know, investors, you want to be appealing to them worldwide. You know, we're not, as an economy, we're global now. We're not specifically geographic to our home location. And LinkedIn, by the way, is a more conservative social network. So it's, the tone of the conversation is going to not be a little bit more like walking into a networking reception where you're suited up, you've got your tie on, you know, the conversation is going to be certainly more professional based. Whereas when you're going into like Facebook or Twitter, the tone is a little bit more fun and a little bit more engaging. Now here's Twitter, for example. 300 million users. It's the SMS of the social media platform. It's the largest network used for business purposes in general, and it's the most prominent referral exchange network. It's kind of like a broadcast channel where you can type a 140 character message that's going to go out to your network of people. And it's also where consumers and investors are going to feel the most comfortable, either praising or complaining about a brand or a company that they come in contact with. So I did a simple search for fund managers in this one here. And you would not believe the list of people that are working in this particular space that show up. So this is certainly, social media is not a fad. It's now mainstream communications, just like the telephone and email is. And now time to win a prize. Who can tell me from an earlier slide how many consumers are online in social media? Excellent. Okay, come up and get your prize. So for those of us who do believe in the vast power of technology to both increase opportunities and solve problems, it's both an exciting and yet also a challenging time. Because even with this knowledge in social media, there's still a few people who don't quite understand the power of the people online. And a lot of these are big business leaders. As companies, though, if we don't embrace change, we're going to end up like this guy, extinct. When it comes to embracing new technology, even though they don't want to admit it, a lot of people in top management, especially those guys close to retirement, they don't really want to learn a whole new set of technology and ways of communicating. And also change, for the most part, is hard for all human beings. We're naturally afraid of the unknowns. We like to stick to things that are predictable. The problem with that is, you do the same thing, you get the same result. And social media just allows you to have that much more power in communicating your message when you're in the space where your investor audience is. And it's also no longer an unknown. There's enough statistics and case studies out there, which I'll take you through in a little bit, that will show that this is definitely a place where, as companies, we need to be. And as communicators, we also probably recognize that we're only going to be successful in protecting and enhancing the nature of our reputation if we're using new technology and getting our management teams on board to support us to do so. Most of us in this room realize that in order to interact with investors, we have to use their communication preferences. Would you all agree? Yeah. So some of the issues that I've heard, or the reasons I've heard from management teams as to why they haven't easily adopted social media for their companies, is that they believe or they don't really understand the audience and how they're using social media. So they're not sure if they're actually online. They think it's going to cost too much. They believe it'll take up too much of the communicator's time. They think it's going to create too much risk for their business. So I'm going to tell you a story that will hopefully help to demonstrate the power of social media. A singer in Nova Scotia was ready to board a United flight one day. This flight ended up having serious delays, with United giving no information to the passengers as to when they were actually going to fly out. The woman tried through traditional and conventional methods to reach customer service and find out what was going on. She needed to get to a performance. Well, guess what happened? United wasn't listening. Nothing. They didn't respond. When she tweeted about this to her audience, it went out to 10,000 people, which was then retweeted. And also, United should have been listening. And this is what social media allows you to do. It allows you to listen to the volume of the conversation around your own brand, as well as around your competitors and the general industry. So United may not have been listening, but guess who was? Southwest, the competition. So they stepped up, did a public tweet back to her, and said, hey, come down to our counter and we'll get you on the next flight out of here so you can make your performance. Well, of course, she was thrilled. So guess what she did? She tweeted about it. And that, of course, was forwarded on. So that is, in terms of creating awareness and gaining credibility for your business, usually that's basically like a referral. And we tend to more trust people or products and services when we hear from them about good things we're doing from our friends. So who do you think these 10,000 people are going to fly with next time? United? Probably not. Southwest. Right? So Southwest potentially, just from that one interaction, increased their sales, and United, that would have cost them quite a bit of money by not being present. So opportunity knocked, and Southwest listened. And this shows how damaging it can be to not be in the room and in the deal, listening to what your audience has to say about you, your competitors, and the industry. So now I want to go through some of the key benefits. We've looked at the issues, and now here's the benefits that you can hopefully take away today and really start to dive a little bit deeper into this and understand what social media can deliver to your business. Retweets, so awareness. Retweets, forwarding of content, and mentions are referral building tools. And this is going to go a long way to helping to increase investor awareness and credibility for your business. Time efficiencies. Yes, at first, getting into social media creates a little bit of a time issue, but as like learning anything new, once you get used to it, it becomes second nature. You get a lot more efficient at it. And as I showed in the previous story of United, mass communication really saves you a lot of time. Because if United had come back and said to all the people that were probably following that particular circumstance, like when are we flying out of here, if they had tweeted, hey, we're going to get you, we're having some problems with the plane, we want to get you to your destination safe, we're doing maintenance, if it doesn't work, we're going to get you, fly in another plane and get you out of here within the next couple hours. That would have been seen by the whole group of people that were waiting to leave. Instead, we know what happened, but that's where efficiencies in time can take place with social media. And there's also tools like Radiant6 and Hootsuite that will allow you to monitor the volume of the conversation around your company, as well as posting through multiple channels. So it really increases the time efficiencies that you have. And reputation management. Well, it's better to manage your reputation by controlling the message and having an idea of what's being said about you out there. Because people are going to be talking about your business, whether you like it or not. We're now a social economy. And by putting the right information out to the public domain, that's going to increase the control of your message. So now, for those people that work at Commerce in the room, I'm going to let you know about a company that we helped launch in the social media space that has been used as the poster child for social media IR. Commerce Resources went into social media about a year and a half ago. And since then, financial sites like IR Web Report have been using them as an example of best practice, and I'll tell you why. They have a strong brand platform which is consistent with their visuals and messaging across all of their social media properties. They have disclaimers on all their channels, which lets people know their policy for social media, and the fact that their posts are not to be considered solicitations. They actively listen to their audience, they have their ear to the ground, and they know what is being said about their business, the competitors, and the industry. They post relevant and interesting content, and they mix up the media, so it makes you want to keep coming back because you're wondering, what are they going to post next, and what are their people doing, and what's the company up to? They also are really good at showing their human side by posting pictures of their staff members, up to big things in the world and doing different types of activities. That helps to humanize the brand. They cross-market through multiple social media channels that are available, like these ones you see up here. They become the go-to destination for events and their specialty of an expert in their field, a specialty of their commodity, which is tantalum. And ultimately, how has that helped them? Well, they shared with me when we were working together that they'd received new investor leads and better communication day to day with their shareholders and investors, both locally and overseas. Management really gets and understands that they need to be in a place where their investor audience is. So you can check them out at commerceresources.com. And now time for another prize. Who remembers what the 3 key benefits of social media are? Okay, another case study with actual numbers published. A Swedish consumer products company by the symbol SCA, because I can't pronounce their name. They're listed on the Stockholm and New York Stock Exchange. They published their social media results after starting in this space in March of 2010. Within a year's time, their traffic on all properties had increased by 50%. That is huge. And of that 50%, 60 went to the company's website, and 40% of new eyeballs were from all their social media sites. Their investor relations rep had stated that the reason why they went into social media is because it's important to be online where their target groups are gathering and sharing information. Their findings also showed that people, especially in today's fast-paced world that we live in, we're kind of a little bit ADD. So they found that people like to receive short informational posts on a daily basis where people can go and look at the information and interact with the company rather than going to the website and reading long pages of information. Another company that's really pretty good at social media is Nova Gold. And something that social helps you to do, other than find and interact with your audience, it creates greater transparency. And this transparency creates trust. People buy and refer businesses that they trust. So a shareholder in this case posted a question asking the company about management's plans for a share buyback. Nova Gold's rep came back shortly after he had posted the question and said, thank you, your questions are important to us, so acknowledged and responded to him in a fairly short time frame. But instead of posting right away, she said, we're going to get back to you with an answer on that. So the great thing too when you're in social media is it's the written word, so you do have time to think about what you want to say first. She probably went back to management, talked to them, found out what the company wanted to say about it publicly, came back and responded to him and said, share buybacks are important to us, and not just the purchase of options, but actually buying shares out of the open market. So, we would just want you to know that our goals are aligned with our shareholders and investors' goals. So what this helped to do is increase the relationship with that particular shareholder, as well as with, remember what I said about mass communication, the group of shareholders that could very well have been wondering the same thing. So one question, one answer, multiple people find out about the company's policy on that. The second thing is that Nova Gold shows that they're responsive to their shareholders and that they care about what's happening and how they're feeling about their corporation. Nova Gold also is good at humanizing their brand. They posted some humorous pictures of some of their staff members participating in the month of Movember with some crazy mustaches. So this shows that the company doesn't take itself too seriously and that it has a sense of humor. And you can see all the comments that they got from that picture. And it's still tasteful, they're not being too crazy and out there. Humanizing your brand just makes people want to connect more with you instead of being a cold corporate face. And now here's Cisco's CEO, John Chambers. He's connecting with their shareholder and customer base through the use of video. And video is great because it is the closest thing that you can get to an in-person meeting with someone. You can, in this case, you can kind of get a sense for who he is as a person, what his values are, what his vision is for the business. And it just, again, and how he runs the organization. It helps to create that, people want to connect with other real people. So it helps to create that bond on behalf of the company. And this guy, I just found this recently, Cisco really understands how to operate in the social space. This is an intern that wrote and created a rap song about working at Cisco. And, and it was posted on YouTube as well as their corporate blog. And you can see it's got quite a number of hits of views. So you do need to work within your own corporate culture and post stuff that your management team put together that they're going to be comfortable with. But like I just showed you with Nova Gold, it is possible to still be showing your corporate personality without going too crazy. They were still pretty stuck within the lines of being conservative. And by being open and transparent about your company's vision, values, policies, personalities, and outcomes, you're going to be able to gain a lot more followers, fans, referrals for your business, and really connect on a deeper level with your shareholders. And now something that's on almost every public company's mind when they look at communicating online is compliance. I know this is one of the big reasons why public companies have been late adopters in this area. But if you keep to sort of the 7 golden rules for remaining compliant, then you're going to drastically reduce any risk that you're going to have by being in this space. Actually, there's more risk by not being there because you want to be at least somewhat in control of your message. So the 7 golden rules are: do have disclaimers linked to all your channels. Have proper training and employee policy. This is huge, okay? It's really important that somebody's not out there being a cowboy on behalf of your business. They really, really have to understand social media and know all the do's and don'ts. Make sure that you're providing links and to all your filings on anything that's material. Don't put out a post if you think it's going to be problematic. If you have any sort of inclination that it could be or you're not quite sure, go back and talk to your management team and find out, what they're going to be most comfortable with putting out there publicly. Don't post, this is a no-brainer, no material information it gets put out in social media unless it's already been disclosed. Don't give any misleading information. Don't leave anything open for interpretation. And definitely, last but not least, do not argue with people on the internet. This can turn disastrous and look something like this. Okay, so time for our last question. Who can tell me 3 out of the 7 golden rules for being compliant? Okay, so now we've just about covered all the areas that I wanted to talk to you about today. So now what? What's next? Well, if you're going to enter the social space, like any good marketing or communications campaign, you want to make sure that you've got a good plan of action. And that includes listening to the volume of the conversation around your company, your competitors, and your industry. And then putting together a solid plan that's going to include your goals, metrics, your target audiences, what communication or what social media channels they're spending their time in, how they're interacting, what your policy is, and what your messaging is, your core messaging is going to be. And then create content and make it easily shareable. What that means is mix up the media and make sure that everything that you're putting out there is frankly exciting. You want to make it, not do the same old, like news releases are great, especially if they're excellent news, but you want to mix it up and have your CEO talking about the company's vision, and you want to be showing personality through your staff members maybe going to events or maybe doing charitable causes or things like that. You want to be blogging and talking about, have some of your employees talking about what it's like to work at the company, and so you just really want to mix it up and use video and images and PowerPoint presentations and keep it interesting for people. And then finally, you want to engage. Social media is a two-way medium. It's not just about pushing out information, it's about connecting with people. And to do that, it's just like, think about when you meet someone for the first time. You want to learn about them, find out what their interests are, what they're doing in their life. And then when you want to market to someone, first make sure that you have an idea of what their interests are and what they want, what kind of information they're looking to receive. And then finally, you're going to analyze all of your results, and this is where the metrics come in. You're going to track the volume of the referrals and the forwards. You're going to find out what the tone is of the conversation out there around your company, and fine-tune your program. And I always tell my clients to make sure that they give social media at least a fighting chance, and that means 6 months to a year. It takes time to build solid relationships and to reach a wide number of people. Okay, so fans, forwards, and ROI. The C-suite loves hard numbers. This is where the metrics come in. They want proof. And when you can show them higher traffic, referrals, and that you're reaching a wider audience, that people are sharing your content and engaging with your company, then they're going to better understand the value of this. And done correctly, social media is going to allow you to identify more tangible results than you ever could with a print ad or an email blast. And also keep in mind that this is not the be-all and end-all to your marketing efforts. This is another tool, just like using the email or telephone is. Okay, so all your programs should be integrated, because as people, we're still out there watching TV, listening to the radio, reading the paper. Social media should be a core part of your marketing outreach, but not the only thing that you do. So at Activate, what we do is help our companies and we train IROs and help companies launch their ways into social media to be more successful, similar to how we helped commerce. So if anybody would like a little bit more information on that, feel free to, it's my Activate plug, feel free to come up and see me. And a parting quote from the King of Innovation. Okay, well, thank you all so much for being here. and have a wonderful rest of the day and a good conference.